Hello everyone, it's Eric, and in today's video I'm going to be going over the newest rules article for Warhammer the Old World. Alright, so in this article it's going to be about the movement phase, and the main gist is that it's fairly true to the original game if you're a fan of rank and flank and regiments and wheeling and things like that. And I feel like this is kind of a point of contention between, and maybe a reason why a lot of people didn't like this game, is because it's probably less accessible in the sense that it's not quite as intuitive. With 40k and Age of Sigmar, you can just take your model and move it in any direction, the distance that they're allowed to move. But in Warhammer the Old World and Fantasy, you can't do that. You have to wheel and move forward your move distance, but you can march. And now it even seems like they're adding even more options and ostensibly making it even more complicated and advanced, which I like. I like that kind of nuance or deeper thought that might go into it, but I feel like, I don't know, maybe for some people it could be a turnoff. So here they're talking about formations and how there are regiments, and if they have more models in a rank than in the file, then they're said to be in close order or open order. But if they have more models in the file than in the rank, then they're said to be in a marching column, and they can move 3 times the distance, which is a new mechanic, or maybe it's a really old mechanic that was there before I got into this. But yeah, I'm not aware of this, so it's new to me at least, and that's interesting. And then they have the usual combat order, which is more models in a rank than in the file. Gives you the standard regiment that we all know and love. And it also sounds like you can't, for a standard regiment, you can't have your file longer than your rank. So this is interesting, and I'm glad to see that they're not, simplifying the game overly so just to appeal to new players. They're really, it seems like they're trying to remain true to the core of what Warhammer Fantasy was, and it's kind of historical basis. It's not a historical game, but I think it kind of derived a great deal from historical ideas. And here we can see different aspects that have been around in the game for ages, like the wheel maneuver. So like I said before, you can't just move in a direction you want to go. You have to think about your facing, and you have to wheel on one edge, on one corner, and then move straight, and then wheel, and then move straight. There's a bit more thought that went into this game than, say, like 40k, at least for the movement phase, at least in that respect. Just the mechanics of movement were a bit more thinking involved, and for some people that's a bad thing, for some people that's a good thing. Personally, I like it. I think it adds a bit of thinking to the game, and sometimes I admit it could be a little frustrating, because sometimes there's just scenarios where you don't know what to do, and one unit and there's 3, it's being flanked on both sides and charged in the front and the back, and there's a banner and this or that, so you don't know what to do, so you kind of have to work something out. But that can happen in any game. I mean, honestly, if there's a rule I don't like, then that's not a big deal to me, because I can change the rule or house rule it. And I realize that's not, if you're really competitive, then everyone basically has to agree to the standard rule set at like a tournament or something. But GW is never going to make a rule set that's going to please everybody, because people have different desires for what they want from a game. Some people want a very simple game that's fast and easy. Some people want a game that really attempts to simulate what a historical battle might look like, and so that's going to inevitably entail more details, more considerations, and more complexity. And it's just what people want from the game, and not everybody wants the same thing. So I mean, they can't please everybody. So, and I know Warhammer fans are a pretty passionate lot that can be kind of hard to please sometimes, because they want a lot, and because this hobby is expensive and very time consuming, and they put a lot of their heart and passion and money into it. So GW does something that they don't like, then it's only natural and to be expected that they might get a little frustrated. But I think we can all be mature and realize that if there's something that doesn't sit right with you with the rules, then you can just be like, well, I'm not a big fan of that rule, but in my own games or my own games with friends or whatever, then I'll just change the rules. Yeah, I think these little articles are nice to see. It seems like they're coming out pretty quickly now. I think the last one was a week ago, so happy to see this. I hope they reveal more pictures of new models pretty soon. They haven't really shown much of Tomb Kings except for that one priest character. And I know this we can see these little pictures of these infantry units from top down, although these look like they just took a picture of an actual miniature from top down and then put like a filter and Photoshop on it, as opposed to hand drawing it like they did before. So this is really nice. I really like how nice the presentation is. It reminds me of like 6th edition or 8th edition. It's really nice to see these old artworks again, classic Bretonnian stuff from their old codex in 6th edition. Yeah, I'm really excited, and I know the newer bases are really growing on me, just because I know if you look back to certain armies like the Ogre Kingdoms, they've always had bigger bases relative to the actual size of the models, so their models have always had more room to breathe, and so now basically every model is going to have more room to breathe. So I think this is a good thing because, you know, it gives you more options for basing and adding flock, or just more basing opportunities, more chances to be creative, and more things you can do with the model, more dynamic poses, and less worry about ranking up and the frustrations that can come with that. So the bases are growing on me. I know it's a bit contentious with some people and they don't want to rebase, or maybe they think things look better with a closer formation, and I get those, but I don't know. I generally just want to use the base that comes with the miniature. So I know I'm going on a big tangent, and I'm not really going over every detail in this article point by point, just because I don't know if everyone would be interested in that. They don't even go over the full rules of the movement. They're just kind of giving a summary. I think the main thing I get from this is that expect the old complexity that you knew and loved from the original Warhammer Fantasy, and it sounds like it's even going to be more complicated or advanced, because I remember when I was playing in 8th, 7th, and 6th edition, there was no lance formation. There was a lance formation, but it was just, you know, ranks of 3. Whereas this is totally different. It's a kind of a pyramid shape, so that's pretty cool. And now there's skirmishers returning. And what I'm a little concerned about, intrigued by, is this whole idea of a standard regiment versus a marching column. So it sounds like they're expecting the player to, if they want to reform their unit to get a faster movement in their marching, so they form a marching column, does that mean you need to basically physically move all your models from your side ranks and put them in the back? Because, I mean, if so, I think that presents a number of problems for people that like movement trays. And I know movement trays are such a staple of Warhammer Fantasy, and I don't see how movement trays are going to work if units are going to be able to, or they're going to be incentivized to really change formation in a way that would put models out of the bounds of the movement tray. I mean, I don't know, maybe people will they'll just say, oh, this unit's in marching order. I don't want to move the actual models because that's going to take too much time, but we'll just make a note of it. I mean, the actual placement of the model does make a difference for charge distance and in ranges and stuff. So, I mean, I don't know how they're going to solve that, and I don't know how this is going to work with movement trays. I don't think they've even said anything about movement trays thus far in all of their previews. But, I mean, we'll have to wait and see. I mean, I don't know. I can't imagine a lot of people wanting to manually pick up like 20 miniatures and rebase them individually, or replace them individually just to go into like a marching column. But I don't know. We'll have to see what they say. Maybe they'll make some kind of crazy adjustable movement tray or something. We'll see. Well, this has been my 2 cents. I hope you guys have enjoyed listening to me, and if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear your feedback. And if you like my content, please consider liking and subscribing. Thank you. Have a great day. Bye-bye.